Hello, welcome back to Milkman Channel. In this video, I am going to be discussing the game Lies of P, and in order to talk about this game the way I see fit and feel comfortable doing so, there will be some spoilers I've mentioned. I will be spoiling my experience with the ending specifically, so if you haven't played Lies of P, plan to, and you want a fresh an experience as possible, save this video to your watch later and come back once you finish the game. Now with that out of the way, let's get into it. In 2009, From Software flipped the gaming world on its head by releasing Demon's Souls. In a time where most games held your hand and told you what to do and when to do it, Demon's Souls did just the opposite. It just dropped you in the game and let you figure everything else out from there. Obviously, not everyone is a fan of this type of game, but there are most definitely people who adore the lack of hand-holding. This was proven when From Software's follow-up title, 2011's Dark Souls, was released and saw great success. From then, From Software has released a slew of Souls and Souls-like games. And with every great success, there are going to be copycats. The Souls games and From Software's similar releases have a very distinct formula known best for the punishing difficulty they contain. And because of their popularity, other development studios have tried to cash in on the formula as well, usually throwing in a twist or two of their own to make it stand out, effectively creating the Souls-like genre of video games. However, none of the copycats have ever been held to the same high regard as the selections from Software. Now, I tried Dark Souls way back in the day when I was just a wee lad. And I hated it. I got killed time and time again and barely ever got through the opening bits of the game, and have steered clear of the Souls and Souls-like games ever since. Until now. A while ago, I saw some pre-release marketing about a little game called Lies of P, a Souls-like game where you play as Pinocchio in a very dark and twisted world. This immediately caught my attention as I love to see new takes on old stories. I was a little apprehensive about it at first due to it being a Souls-like, but I decided to give it a whirl anyway, especially since it was on PC Game Pass, so there was no real financial investment. Despite the difficulty, I did work my way through the game, and you already know I have some thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into Lies of P. Now, I don't know about the development of this, so NeoWiz, I don't know how much they did on development, but they're listed as a developer everywhere I look, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Lies of P was developed in tandem with Round 8 Studio and NeoWiz Games, and was published by NeoWiz. It was released on September 19th, 2023. It is available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, Windows PC, and Mac, which I find really interesting since Apple is clearly trying to do more in the gaming space. As I mentioned, this game is on PC Game Pass, and that is how I played it. So all footage you are seeing was captured on PC, launching it through PC Game Pass. Additionally, I did play a very solid chunk of this on my Lenovo Legion Go, and it ran great in performance mode, with me capping it at 60 frames per second. Really don't regret buying that thing at all. It's the greatest machine of all time. But moving on. In Lies of P, you play as Pinocchio, a puppet created by the legendary puppet maker Geppetto. You navigate the ruins and remains of the city of Krat. Krat is a city quite down on its luck, as it recently went through a puppet revolution. In this game, puppets are, for all intents and purposes, robot servants. They were created to serve humans and do the things humans didn't want to do. However, they turned on the humans one day and threw the city into despair. And then, at the same time as that, there's another threat, the petrification disease. Kinda had to sound that one out. A disease that takes humans and either kills them or turns them into monsters. As Pinocchio, you traverse through the city as you try to stop the puppets from overtaking it, the disease from spreading, and just trying to restore order to the city of Krat. All in all, it's safe to say Krat is not in a good place, and I love the setting of the city and how dark it was. But this game was far from my favorite. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Per usual, let's go through the pros and cons I experienced. We're going to mix things up this time around and go through the cons first, due to my main one being the story and how vague it is. In classic Souls and Souls-like fashion, the story does exist, but they definitely don't make it super clear what the goal is. And I actually summarized it using Wikipedia, as I didn't feel like I knew enough to summarize it based on my playthrough. For instance, Pinocchio is unique, as all puppets are programmed to be unable to lie to humans. All of which except Pinocchio, hence the title, Lies of P. You are given choices to lie at times and impact a hidden stat known as humanity. The humanity stat impacts the ending of the game and what you are able to see. Partway through the game, you rescue Geppetto, and you essentially become his little errand boy and just do whatever the hell he tells you. Then, at the end, depending on your humanity levels, you can choose to either align with Geppetto and give him your heart, or deny his request and engage in one last battle. I chose to align with Geppetto because, it's my dad, thought he was chill. Little did I know, he was low-key the bad guy of the whole game. His plan was to use Pinocchio to resurrect his dead son Cleo and have Cleo kill everyone in the Hotel Krat, aka like the hub world in this game that's filled with your allies, and replace them with puppets. Had I known any of that, I probably wouldn't have aligned with him in the end, as all he did was bark orders at me, while everyone else in the hotel offered help in some way. Had the story been clearer, I would have chosen the other option. Speaking of options, something I semi-expected with Lies of P, as I know it is a common thing in Souls-like games, but it is too many stats to track. Pinocchio himself has many stats to keep track of when doing both leveling up and equipping specific items. But you guys know me, of course I'm going to complain about that. I am a simple man, so I would have liked to see less stats, or at least more clearly explained stats. But I harp on that a lot in these video game videos, so let's move on. I also would like to have seen more accessibility with this game, namely the difficulty setting, or should I say the lack of one. Video games are all about having fun. Now, you guys know me, I enjoy challenging games from time to time. That's part of what I find fun about them. However, not everyone is me. Some people have more fun by taking things easy and thrashing through enemies without even thinking twice, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's all about what you find fun. But if you want to play Lies of P and just be badass and just experience the story, or at least as much of it as you can, you are not able to. If you are looking to play this game, you have to do it the way the game wants and just roll with the punches due to the lack of difficulty options. I understand the whole get good thing, and people who complain about the difficulty of some games just need to get better. But I'm a gamer of the people, and the more people that can enjoy a game, the better. And unfortunately, Lies of P is not one that can be enjoyed by tons of people. You have to be looking for a challenge to enjoy this one. As much as I am complaining about Lies of P though, there are some positives I'd like to discuss at this point. First and foremost, the aesthetic and general tone of this game I adore. Like I said earlier, I love to see new takes on old stories, and the more different the better. So to see a little kid's story that most people know as a family-friendly Disney character get turned into an 1800s slaughterer of zombies and his own kind, I'm all about it. It was pretty baller. But even on top of that, the city of Krat and the atmosphere of this game screams eerie and creepy. There were times where I was walking around the city or wherever else, because you do eventually make your way out of the city a little bit, and I turned the corner just to see a horrifying giant enemy I've never encountered before, and feel a pit in my stomach as I approach, not knowing how viciously I was going to get manhandled. Just about every time I encountered a new enemy, the first thought I had is, what in Sam Hill is that fucking thing? Super great, creepy, and overall unsettling atmosphere. Really good on a round 8 on that one. Along with the atmosphere, I really enjoyed the weapon system in Lies of P. Remember how I said Souls-like games that aren't by From Software typically try to introduce a new mechanic or two to stand out? Well, there is a weapon crafting system in this game that falls under that category. You see, almost all weapons can be disassembled into two parts. The blade, hammerhead, axe head, whatever, etc., and the handle. From there, you can pair up any blade. I'm just going to say blade I'm not just going on and on every time. From there, you can pair up any blade part with any handle. This allows you to create some truly unique weapons that you can tailor to your playstyle. The blade acting as the main source of damage numbers, and the handle mainly dictating how you wield it, the speed of your attacks, the range of them, so on and so forth. Obviously, you can't throw a heavy hammerhead onto a little dagger handle and swing the hammer as fast as a dagger, and they do play into each other's stats a little bit, but that's the basis of it. Personally, what makes me really like this system is that you can upgrade the blades and the handles separately, further promoting the use of the system. You can take your level 10 blade and slap it onto a handle you just found, and it doesn't impact the individual blade or future handle upgrades at all. And if you don't like it, just disassemble it again and go back to where you were before. However, as much as I praise the system, I didn't really use it too often in all honesty. I used my starting weapon and a scythe I found that, I'm not going to be honest, I mainly used just because it looked cool. But also that scythe can't be disassembled. Yes, not all weapons can be disassembled. I used those two weapons for about 90% of the game. It wasn't until the second to last boss that I felt the need to experiment and use a custom weapon. But all because I didn't use it doesn't mean I don't think it's cool and innovative. When it's all said and done, I did like the time I spent with this game. Like, not love. However, this game functioned as something more than just another game for me. What Lies of P is almost like, think of it as a key. A key to open my mind to Souls and Souls-like games a little more in the future. Now, let me make one thing clear. I am not chomping at the bit to dive into another one of these. I most certainly need a break from this type of thing, as this was one of the hardest and most mentally exhausting games I've played in a long time. I need to play some other games for now and cleanse myself of the stress Lies of P caused me. But will I cower in fear of Souls and Souls-like games like I have been? No. But will I happily play them? Yeah. Maybe in the future, but for now, I need to cleanse my palate. So in closing, Lies of P, ironically, tells no lies about what it is. It is a creepy, unique, tough as nails game. It tells the truth. But just like any other truths, you don't have to like it, you just have to simply accept it for what it is. Well, there you have it. A game I normally would have never played. I decided to throw myself at it, and I'm glad I did. But this is like a 30+ hour game, which is definitely one of the longest games I've played recently. I didn't love it, didn't hate it either. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, tell YouTube that, hit that thumbs up button anyway. It helps out a ton. And while you're at it, take a big old stinky poopy on the subscribe button, and also just rip a hot piss onto the post notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And as always, let's talk in the comments, whether it will be about Lies of P, other Souls and Souls-like games, or even whatever game you're playing right now. I'd love to hear whatever you guys are playing. I'm going to be jumping to the God of War Ragnarok DLC that dropped a week or two ago. By the time you are hearing this, there's a chance I'm already done with it, but I will not make a video on it. This one's just for me. If I am doing a God of War video, I'm doing one on the whole story of Kratos, but because of that, and from what I can tell, his story may not be over, so I don't want to do that video quite yet. But after that, I'm going to be jumping into Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. I played the first one, I liked it, so I'm excited to jump into the sequel, and there will be a video on that one, so make sure you're on the lookout in the coming weeks for that. In the meantime, I'll keep cranking out the food videos, maybe make another video game video or two on, like, thoughts or impressions on something. And I'll see you again soon here on Milkman Channel. Thank you.